Let's get some prize picks in today, guys. The first tip last night went 1 and 3. I went for this relationship with Kyle Lowry and Kelly Oubre. Of course, the opposite happened here where Oubre ended up getting more points, and then Kyle Lowry ended up going way under his point total. He didn't even get a point. Then the stack on Suarez and Carroll also did not pan through. It did pan through, however, in this stack right here with Banchero and Wagner. You could see Banchero drop 39 points. Obviously, if Banchero is dropping 30 plus points, it's very unlikely that Wagner is also getting points. So that's the relationship that I was going for, and it panned through. Here on the Red Sox, there was a DNP on which Abreu ended up clearing his hits, runs, RBIs very easily, but I couldn't even get this correlation effect because of this DNP. Guys, when I'm giving 4 powers and there is a DNP, I always recommend to cancel. So when you see a player is not in the lineup, you're going to see this DNP here, and you can go up here and click cancel entry. The reason is we want these to absolutely be 4 powers because the payout on 3 powers are terrible. You only get 5x. On underdog, you get 6x, for example. So you know you're losing a lot of value when we get these DNPs. So next time there's a DNP, I will be refunding the entry, even though I put it in the video. So let's get into board for today. I'm going to make another 2 4-mans. I believe the record right now is 0-9. So we still haven't hit one. Once we hit one, obviously that's going to replenish all the units we lost for the other ones. So let's start it off with the Celtics. And honestly, as you could see, every single line has been bumped quite substantially. Drew Holiday was at 9.5, I want to say last game. He's at 11.5. Horford, which we took last time, was at 6.5. He's all the way up at 9.5. Because I want to take him again tonight because I will be taking Tatum's under, but I just can't justify it at 9.5. I think that's a massive bump for where it was. Yes, it's a closeout game, but I'm not sure why he was bumped 3 points from last game. I don't think that really makes sense. On the other hand, Tatum has also been bumped up. I believe he was hovering at about 26.5 point totals the past few games. He's at 27.5 points, and he's only cleared his 1 game versus Miami in this series. It was right here where he got exactly 28. I'm going to continue riding with his under. If you check every sportsbook, there's heavy juice on his under. So you could see right here, Jason Tatum, 27.5 points, has juice towards the under at minus 127 here on Pinnacle. And then let's go on Bet365, for example, type in Tatum points, and you're going to see, again, juice towards the under at 27.5. This is a line I could see getting bumped down to 27. It's not playable at 27, I'm telling you now. Make sure you're getting at 27.5. I've been riding with this under for the past few days, and I'm not going to stop. And if we go over to this Celtics game here, you see total at 200. So it's not like the total is expected to be high or anything. I think this is actually the lowest total I've seen so far in the series. So 200 is very, very low. You're going to see on the team props, they're only expecting about 93 points for the Heat and 106 for the Celtics. If Derek White has another standout game like he had last time, there's no way that Tatum is also dropping 30 plus points. There's also that blow up potential where maybe all the starters get benched near the end, giving less minutes because they know the series is absolutely over. So I don't see anything pointing towards Tatum's over here. So I'm going to continue riding the under here. I will not be pairing that up with any other Celtics player because, as I said, they all got bumped quite substantially here. Even Jaylen Brown was at like 21.5 points. He's now all the way up at 23.5. And I'm not sure who's going to stand out tonight. Could be Derek White again. It could be Brown. Who knows? So I'm just going to stick with Jason Tatum on his under points for tonight. Next, I'm going over to this popular pick, Luka Doncic on his 52.5 PRA. He has not cleared this at all in the whole series. And I know you guys are all on his under 52.5 PRA. That is not what I'm going with. I'm actually going on one of his overs. I'm going to go over to his points plus rebounds and grab his over 42.5. There's also the points assists. A lot of people are thinking he's going to get a double-double tonight. Is it going to be a double-double assist or double-double on rebounds? Maybe a triple-double, but I'm going with the rebounds prop. He has been rebounding quite well this series. If you check his average, 9.6. He got 6 in this one game, 13 here, and then 10 here. So at least he's cleared this in 3 out of the 4 games, but it's mainly the points that he's not been clearing. You can see he has never cleared this in the past few games. Kyrie Irving has been doing well in the points department, clearing his totals, but he also got bumped from 24.5 all the way up to 26.5. I think Doncic is due for a good game. I know I hate saying due, but in reality, Doncic has been averaging around 33 points per game, and you can see in his last 5, he's averaging 29. So the law of averages is basically sometimes you get 20-point games, sometimes you get 40-point games, and then eventually it averages down to that 30 points. And he hasn't had that good game to bring his averages back up to that 33 mark, so I think tonight could be the night. It's a pretty important game here, 2-2 in the series. This next one is going to carry a lot of momentum for whoever wins tonight. If we take a deeper look, we're actually getting some good value on Doncic, even compared to sportsbooks. Minus 125 here towards the over. What I like most about this pick is honestly that mean reversion concept there. I did it with Jamal Murray last time, and I want to do it with Doncic again because he has not been shooting well. 29 points, 10 of 24 from the 2-point, and then 1 of 9 from the 3-point line. Like, this is terrible shooting for Doncic. He normally shoots about 38% from 3 and about 50% from the field. and he has not been getting near that. 10 of 24, 7 of 25, 11 of 26, and 11 of 26 in each game of the series. If you go check his 3-pointers, the first 2 games he shot pretty decently, but he got 32 and 33 points in these games. If he shot a little bit better from the field, like just one extra bucket, he would have cashed out over 33.5 points. Game 3, he shot terribly and only got 22 points. And then game 4, he shot terribly from that 3-point line and got 29 points. So I think there's good potential here for Doncic. It's exactly like that Jamal Murray pick I went for in game 5. He was just due for a good game and he ended up cashing it. So we're going to go with these 2 as the first picks. And of course, we're going through the MLB to kind of end off this slip. We're going to go to Colorado and grab Diaz here on his over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs right here. And then we're going to be pairing that up with Ryan on his over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. If you go and check the lineups, it's very important. You're going to see they're batting 3rd and 4th respectively. But even more importantly is the juice. You could see Ryan here at minus 130 towards the over. And if we go and check Diaz, minus 135 towards the over. Let's try to cash this one tonight as the first pick, and then we're going to get into the second one right away. So back to the NBA, we want to be going with James Harden on his over 17.5 points. Guys, if you have already used this, don't worry, I have a replacement. But this prop is an absolute gem. Of course, he's cleared this every single time this series. He's been playing amazing in this series, kind of carrying the Clippers, I'm not going to lie, with Kawhi out and with Paul George being kind of slow. James Harden is putting the points on his back, and of course, his discounted line 4 points off his total is amazing. I'm going to be taking this for sure. But if you're limited on these props or maybe you played it already, I like another replacement. Same pick on James Harden, but we're going to go to his 42.5 fantasy score. Like I said, James Harden's been popping off. He has cleared this 3 out of 4 times in the series, and he cleared it quite nicely in these games here. 54.7, 46.2, and 47.4. And on RotoWire, they have an optimizer for free here that tells you 43 minutes expected for James Harden with a projection of 46.06 fantasy points. And this exact same fantasy point calculation that they use for Prizepicks, so it all translates over. On Prizepicks, we're getting about 42.5. So about 3.5 extra fantasy score line, at least in terms of the projection models. What I like most about fantasy score, especially when players are playing good defense, which Harden has been doing, you see he's averaging 2 steals and blocks per game. So 1 steal here, 1 block here, 2 steals here, 1 block here, 1 steal, 1 block in this game, and then 2 blocks in game 1. And it makes sense because these are pretty cool. He averages about like 1.7 steals and blocks a game, so it's looking good there. And what I like most about fantasy score is if he decides to have a game where he's not shooting a lot and not scoring a lot, you actually get more fantasy score from your rebounds and assists. So it's actually better if he has a kind of heavy assisting game. Obviously, if he's dropping like 28, 33 points, he's going to absolutely cash his line. But even if he decides to take more of a passing role tonight, he could still cash this line. As you can see in this game, he got 22 points, got 46.2 fantasy score, and that was with 6 rebounds and 8 assists. Harden's definitely been that rock for the Clippers, and I like this fantasy score at 42.5. I think it's a bit too low. Obviously, go with his 17.5 points instead of the fantasy score if you're able to. But we're going to drop to 17.5 points and keep the fantasy score for the purpose of the video. Next up, we're going with another fantasy score. I'm going with Nikola Jovic here on his over 20.5 fantasy score. He did clear this in 2 out of the 4 games here, and on the 21st, which was the first game here, he got pretty close at 19.2. Now, if we look into the game logs a bit deeper, he only played 16 minutes in this start where he got 9.6 fantasy score. And every other game, he got some pretty decent minutes here. So in game 1, he got 26. Game 2, he got 25, where he cleared it at 37.8 fantasy score. And in game 3, he got 34 minutes and still cleared it at 32.1 fantasy score. He's been averaging some crazy numbers on the defense department. I mean, he gets like 1 steal or block a game. Here he got 1, here he got 4, here he got 2, and here he got 1. That's kind of way above his averages. You would expect him to get like maybe 1 a game. Definitely not 4 and definitely not 2. So he's been averaging high. But as long as he gets 1 steal or block, as you can see, both the block and steals are worth 3 points. But his rebounding is going to help him too. It gives a 1.2 per rebound. And if you check his rebounds, other than the game that he only played 60 minutes, he's been averaging some pretty decent rebounds, 6, 9, and 8. And he still got 3 in only 60 minutes. Scale that up to like 34 minutes. And he would probably get like 6 rebounds in this game. Now, why am I not worried about him getting another low minute game? Well, because Hackwas is out now. Jovic is going to have to play. They're not playing Duncan Robinson. A lot of players are not getting minutes. Kevin Love barely got minutes. Jovic is going to have to step up tonight. He did play 25 minutes in that game that they did win. But if you go over to the projections, they are projecting him at about 32 minutes tonight with 27.44 fantasy points. Remember, on Prizepicks, we're getting about 20.5. So at least according to the projections, we're getting 7 points of value on this fantasy score. I'm absolutely loving this play with Hackwas out. I think there's very good potential for him to clear this line. Moving on to the MLB, I'm going to go with an understack, and I'm going to be fading the LA Dodgers. I know it sounds a bit crazy here, but we're going with Freddie Freeman on his under 2.5 hits, runs, RBIs, as well as Will Smith on his under 2.5 hits, runs, RBIs. As I always say, I mean, these lines are kind of scaled up for the Dodgers. So like someone on the Nationals might be at 1.5, but Dodgers will normally be set at 2.5 to compensate for the fact that they're kind of OP in terms of getting hits, runs, and RBIs. If you go over to DraftKings and check the juice on both these guys, again, this is all priced into the Dodgers being good. Freeman has minus 130 juice towards the under at 2.5 hits, runs, RBIs, as well as Will Smith on the under here at the minus 130 on the hits, runs, RBIs once again. So So it's going to be the second slip. Again, if there's any DNPs, make sure to cancel the slips.